the invasion of Iraq. That is a war based on the George W. Bush lie.
We join the event already in progress. The Ohio Democratic Party Legacy Dinner live stream. Thank you, Ohio Dems.
Weapon of mass destruction. In introducing my honorable and gifted colleague with whom I have served for over 2 decades in Congress, let me do so through the economic lens of Ohio, a state now where the top 10 largest employers are largely wealth distributors, not wealth creators. Walmart is Ohio's largest employer, with its shelves filled with goods primarily manufactured outside Ohio, oftentimes offshore. Ohio, our heartland, and America must become producers again, not just consumers and distributors. Let me take you from Columbus, Ohio's capital city, to the other Ohio, so aptly reported in the Toledo Blade. Meet Richard Hahn of Lorain County, Ohio, who worked for York International in Elyria for 23 years. Post-NAFTA, he and 900 of his co-workers had their jobs outsourced to Monterrey, Mexico. He was out of work for a year, and he later found work at U.S. Steel in Lorain. Now U.S. Steel and its 600 workers, along with its neighboring factory of Republic Steel next door, are being pink-slipped and idled due to imported steel. Under NAFTA, we were promised communities negatively impacted by trade would get help to transition their workers to new jobs under what was called the North American Development Bank. That bank never materialized, and the promise of hope for these workers were false promises. Meet Norma McFadden of Sandusky, Ohio, who worked for the Dixon Ticonderoga factory in that county, in Erie, that produced school supplies and was outsourced to Mexico City in 2002. Workers in that plant had to retrain their replacements in Mexico. And for those displaced workers fortunate to find a job, their wages were cut by 1/3 to 1/2. And now, come with me to meet Mexican citizen Santiago Cruz, age 27, who was being trained in Toledo, Ohio, to help our continental farm workers improve their miserable plight, millions of them. In 2007, Santiago was beaten to death in Monterrey, Mexico, for trying to root out the utter corruption in Mexico's farm labor contracting. It is an understatement to say there has been no justice for farm workers in the Americas, nor has NAFTA ever been amended to account for the over 2 million Mexican peasants uprooted from their small farms that form the exodus to our nation of undocumented human beings. NAFTA remains a continental sacrilege, and with its victims now pilloried in the immigration debate, our nation must renegotiate NAFTA and other trade deals that treat people like expendable chattel. Senator Bernie Sanders is an honorable man who comes from the people. He has served as a mayor of the largest city of Vermont that has also endured economic hardship, as a U.S. representative for 16 years and a U.S. senator for over a decade. Time and again, his prescience, his judgment has been proven right with the passage of time. As chairman of the Senate Veterans Committee, Senator Sanders led the effort to double support for America's veterans for their health care, their disability, their pension benefits they earned in patriotic service to our nation. And from the first day he stepped on the House floor in 1991, Senator Sanders has worked to advance the economic might of our nation. It has been a grueling path. Whether it was the decades-long fight to stop bad trade deals that have outsourced so many of America's good jobs, or the Herculean efforts that Bernie put forth to stop Wall Street's raid on middle America's home equity in 2008, or his valiant fight to rein in campaign spending and politics, or his current fight to prevent 47,000 Ohio retirees from the Central States Teamsters Fund from getting major benefit cuts in their pensions, I have always known Bernie understands the dimension of the challenge America faces. And yes, Bernie supports the restoration of the Glass-Steagall Act to separate Wall Street's risky speculators from prudent banking, to prevent financial catastrophe in the future, and to enliven community banking again in states like Ohio. The challenge Ohio faces is real. It stretches from the job-short neighborhoods of Toledo, Lorain, Cleveland, Youngstown, Dayton, Steubenville, and Portsmouth to the penny-wage sweatshops in Mexico's maquiladoras and the barbed wire work zones of China. I know Bernie Sanders is in this race for President of the United States for noble reasons. And I know his unwavering commitment to our nation's democratic ideals and to the American people where every person counts. I know his conscience about working people from nations around the world who aspire to a better way of life. America could have no stronger democratic leader for jobs in this country, for fair trade, for economic progress for all, not just the privileged few, than Bernie Sanders, because he's been fighting the outsourcing of jobs and opportunity for over 3 decades. NAFTA, CAFTA, China PNTR, Korea, and now the proposed TPP. The insiders drafting these agreements have moved their big campaign donations into the halls of government in ways that are truly frightening and undermine our nation's precious endowment of representative government. Bernie Sanders' fight, our fight, is a fight for American values and, in turn, for a better future for this generation and our posterity. The average income in the free enterprise region of Ohio that I represent is $7,000 less per family than it was when this century began. Bernie Sanders has been unwavering in his dedication to right this unjust leveling out of the American way of life and, in turn, our democratic values. I know Bernie's courage. I know his perseverance. For the entire period of his service, he has been fighting this uphill struggle for living wage jobs and fair trade for America. My friends, good Democrats, it is the political and economic test of our time. As important as America's struggle in past generations to wipe out the enslavement of bonded workers in the 19th century, or to give workers dignity through the passage of the National Labor Relations Act in the 20th century. The American people have been enduring the outsourcing of good jobs overseas for too long. Ohio alone has lost over 300,000 good jobs. Meanwhile, America's accumulated trade deficit over the past quarter century tops $9.5 trillion of lost wages and lost wealth drained from towns and boroughs across our homeland. That erosion has shaken and diminished our middle class as poverty increases. America has a budget deficit because we have a mammoth and growing trade deficit. We need more wealth creation here at home. The road ahead to fix a tattered economy will not be easy, but our beloved country is capable of achieving anything we set our mind to if we work together for a common purpose. I believe Bernie Sanders, with his vision, his experience, his heritage, and his passionate commitment and democratic heart, embodies the right formula to meet this test and triumph for all of America and freedom lovers everywhere. Please allow me to introduce to you my friend and colleague, a man whose indefatigable spirit has the kind of passion, judgment, and stick-to-itiveness to lead us into the new generation. Ladies and gentlemen, the next President of the United States, Bernie Sanders.
Let me begin. Let me begin by apologizing. There is a CNN live forum at 8 o'clock that I've got to get to, so I'm going to be very, very brief. Let me begin by thanking all of you in Ohio for sending Marcy Kaptur to the United States Congress. I've known Marcy for decades. Nobody in Congress has stood up for the American worker, has opposed disastrous trade policies more vigorously and more effectively than Marcy Kaptur. Thank you, Ohio, for sending her to the Congress. Now, we just came from a great rally we held here in Columbus. We had about 7,000 people out. And this is similar to the rallies we've been holding all over the Midwest and all over this country. The American people, working people, young people want in to the political process. The Democratic Party has got to open the door, welcome those people in, and create a party that stands for working people in this country. This campaign is about ending a corrupt campaign finance system that allows billionaires to buy elections. Together, we are going to overturn Citizens United. Together, we are going to end Republican voter suppression. Together, we are going to create a country and a political system in which we have one of the highest rates of voter turnout, not one of the lowest rates. Together, we are going to end the rigged economy. It is not acceptable to me and to the American people that the top 1/10 of 1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. So maybe, just maybe, the time is right to create an economy that works for all of us, not just wealthy campaign contributors. Maybe, just maybe, it's time to end our disastrous trade policies, NAFTA, CAFTA, PNTR with China, and tell corporate America that they better start investing in this country, not just in China. Maybe, just maybe, it is time to raise the minimum wage in this country to a living wage, $15 an hour. And maybe, just maybe, it is time for the United States to join the rest of the industrialized world and guarantee health care to all as a right. And maybe it is time to take on the insurance companies and the drug companies who are ripping off this country every single day and pass a Medicare for all health care system which will guarantee health care to all people and lower health care costs by thousands of dollars a year for middle-class families. And maybe it is time to address the reality that in America today we have a broken criminal justice system, that we have institutional racism, and we are going to have to reform that broken criminal justice system and end institutional racism. What this campaign is about is creating a political revolution. It is the understanding that no president, not Bernie Sanders or anybody else, can do it alone, that we need millions of people to jump into the political process in the way that we have never seen in recent history. And the bottom line is, when we stand together as black and white and Latino and Asian Americans, gay and straight, people born in this country, people coming to this country, when we stand together, yes, we will have the power to take on the billionaire class, and yes, we will have the power to create a government that works for all of us, not just the 1%. Thank you all very much.
Well, everybody. There we go. All right. Well, that was a really quick speech with Bernie at the Ohio Dems Legacy Dinner. Had no idea what that was really going to be, and I'm sorry I confused everybody into thinking that that was the debate. It's not the town hall thing that's going on tonight. That is CNN. Most likely, I'll do a meta. Bernie's on his way to that right now. When's that supposed to? That's supposed to start in like 15 minutes. Scott, is that the deal, folks? 8 p.m. So, folks, we'll see in about 15 minutes. I'll put together a meta debate, and we'll do that. Anything you want to say about what he had to say there, Scott? That was kind of like the fastest stump speech in the history of the universe. Right? Yeah, you're out speeching with Bernie. She was on fire. She was really passionate. She was getting to it. It's good to hear. Yeah. Well, Cindy Matthews was saying that they redistrict, and that's how they ended up killing one of the Dem roles, right? Just getting rid of it. That's what I think she's alluding to what you're talking about there. Yeah, sneaky bullshit going on. What did you? Anything we should tell the viewers right now? Anything they need to know? Key things? Any updates? Important news that's happened today? What was the poll out in Illinois? I saw some notes about that. What's the deal with that? Oh, he's not leading, because I saw somebody saying he was leading, so he's not leading. but he's within 6 points. So the same thing we saw, right? Same thing we saw with Michigan, right? Where the gap closes, and then we show up to vote, right? This is what's going to happen. Then we show up to vote and we kick ass. So I'm expecting that to happen in Illinois. Yay, good for that. Well, folks, honestly, I think we're just going to take off here. Oh, shit, you know what? What? Oh, Scott, I'm so dumb. I'm seeing you say no audio. I just saw it.
Oh,
Everybody, listen to Scott. Shit, I hate it when I do that. Man, we threw these events so fast. I'm sorry. I know. Tell everybody what you just said. What?
I didn't have much to say anyway. So.
That's not true. Tell everybody what you just said. Damn it! I feel so dumb. I'm so bad. I'm gonna get off the screen. I'm just gonna put you on screen there. I'm sorry. Go.
Oh, I thought Marcy Kaptur was great. That's a great endorsement and introduction. I don't know if it was just enough of Dennis Kucinich's district that got sent to hers that it was still a majority of her district, and that's why Dennis didn't challenge her or not. But he obviously didn't feel that he could have retained his seat after the redistricting. And yeah, and I thought that the news out of Illinois today with the poll that has Bernie within 6 points is showing a lot of momentum going into Tuesday.
See, folks, doesn't it sound? It makes so much more sense when you can hear both of us. I know. We provide humor here. One of these days, this is the reason why we have somebody who's supposed to work that in the back end. Long story that. Anyway, we've done a lot of events today. Thank you for being with us. Had a big audience all throughout the day. Seen a lot of Bernie today. Some great introductions from a lot of speakers. Really fun having you with us. We will be doing a meta debate coming up here. 10 minutes. Yeah, what do we got? 10 minutes. Why don't we go out with something? I've just been killing the events very quick, and that's not good. So why don't we end with something? This is Now is the Time, Bernie 2016. Matt Orfalea, he's done several things for Bernie, and just as a grassroots volunteer. I love his material, so we'll run out with this, folks. Thank you so much for being here with us. Apologize for the audio. That's what happens when I throw events together this fast. We just went from one to the next to the next. He has been, it's amazing that Bernie actually gets to the next event before I have a chance to figure out where the hell it is and get things set up. That's how fast he is. So thank you for joining us on this incredible day of chasing Bernie. And we will see you for the meta debate shortly. Here's Matt Orfalea. Now is the time.
The last thing Dr. King said to me before he was murdered, Martin said, you know, I sit here deeply concerned that I suspect we're leading our nation on an integration trip that has us integrating into a burning house. Most of the politicians I know of make promises only to walk into the places of power and then deny us. I guess part of the reason I'm here is to really look through the ravages of the Democratic Party and see if anything is really worth salvaging.
Welcome, Senator Sanders.
If you line up Martin Luther King's social policy, there's only one candidate who lines up.
Sanders is the symbol for all that is right in this country.
He's an honest guy, and he's one of the main people I think that really has a platform to really tell the truth to the people.
Bernie Sanders is bringing up a lot of issues that need to be dealt with.
The corporate media has been unfair to him.
We have some special guests joining us this morning. Senator Bernie Sanders and rapper and friend to the room, Killer Mike.
Yeah.
Mike's like his #1 shooter.
If you work 40 hours a week, you you should not be in poverty. That's why I'm here.
People are scared to go to the doctor because the bill will be so expensive.
We as a nation have a moral obligation to have universal health care. He is a champion for civil rights.
Ending a bullshit drug war. Making sure our children can go to college.
And ladies, we want our whole damn dollar.
When you have an opportunity to tell two black girls to shut up and get off stage and you don't, and you shake their hand and you smile and you step to the side and you listen, that is a firm difference from turning around and staring at a little black girl and saying, shut up, I'll talk to you later.
I want to know how you feel about somebody calling you their firewall. You have to earn the black vote. You don't own the black vote.
If I can find a picture of you from 51 years ago, chained to a black woman, protesting segregation, and I know 51 years later, you're willing to fold your arm, hold your head, and listen to two black girls yell and scream, rightfully so.
My life matters!
As opposed to someone who will tell you to shut up. As opposed to someone who will tell you later when it comes to your children dying in the streets.
Erica Garner, the daughter of Eric Garner, who died in a police chokehold, is supporting Sanders.
Cornel West hitting the campaign trail for Senator Bernie Sanders.
The only one running without a super PAC. The only one that ain't got all them big billions of dollars behind him.
Bernie Sanders is not just talking about it, he wants the walk. If we can abolish slavery in this nation, if women can get the right to vote, universal health care can happen.
Spike Lee is throwing his support behind the Vermont senator.
Tuition-free college can happen.
I'm not here to talk about a dream that we think is unattainable, so we settle for less.
This is no time to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism.
The cause is right, and the time is now.
That's why I've endorsed Bernie Sanders.
Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time.
Senator Sanders is the best option that we have in the race.
He is a champion for civil rights and social justice.
When Bernie Sanders took that step to say, we need to address police brutality, in my opinion, that just speaks volumes when it comes to being courageous and being bold.
We make our history right here this moment.
The Bernie Sanders campaign is the love train. We spend more money in this country to keep folks in prison. Why can't we invest some of that money to educate folks? Get in on the movement.
Black Lives Matter.
You can feel the burn. Don't you feel the burn?
Enough is enough.
Is enough.
Is enough.
And thank you, sir. Hey, thank
Oh,
you.
that was rich.
Ooh,
that was rich.
Huge